Hello everyone and welcome to chapter 3. Relatively this is an easier chapter as compared to chapter 2 and other chapters that we are going to do. So in this chapter we are going to discuss about the valuation principle. So what does it cover? This chapter covers cost benefit analysis, then it covers market prices and the valuation principle. Then we'll talk about time value of money and interest rates, and finally we'll talk about valuing cash flows at different points in time. So what is the learning objective? The learning objective of this chapter is to identify the role of financial managers in decision making, recognize the role of competitive markets and how they play a role determining the value of good, understand the valuation principle and how it can be used to identify decisions, access the effect of interest rates, and understand law of one price. So as we have discussed, the role of financial manager is to make decisions on behalf of firm's investors. So we are representative as a financial manager of investor, and our decisions should maximize shareholders' wealth. Our decisions should maximize shareholders' wealth. And how do we do that? We do that by making decisions that have more benefits as compared to cost. Whenever the decision has more benefits than its cost, you will add to shareholders value. But real world is not so easy because there are complications when determining benefits, or there are complications determining cost. Sometimes the benefits may occur in different currency if you are an international firm, or the timing of benefits and cost may be different. Cost you incur right away, but benefit is staggered over time. Then you have to use judgment and financial analysis skills to determine whether it's a good decision or not. And apart from that, as a financial manager, you need to consult with many people. Like some decisions may involve marketing, like example, Tesla doesn't advertise at all for its cars. So Tesla in the next shareholder meeting is going to make a decision regarding that. So should they normal car companies spend 10% of their revenues on advertising. So should Tesla start spending 10% of its revenue on advertising? So you need marketing managers' help to do that. There could be economic decisions. For example, Costco is the lowest cost producer or lowest cost retailer or wholesaler in North America. Now what happens if the Costco decides to increase the price? How would the customers react? How would the competitors react? So that is also extremely important. Organizational behavior is important. So for example, what happens when an iconic player like Steve Jobs is not there anymore with Apple? So there should be some organization changes, some plans regarding that, and how they impact strategies and operations also impact. So you as a financial manager do not make those decisions in silo. You need consultation with other departments to make your decisions. Now, quantifying cost and benefits. Any decision in which the value of benefits exceeds the cost would increase the value. So our aim is to increase benefits or to have more benefits than cost. Suppose you are a jewelry manufacturer that has an opportunity to trade 600 ounces of silver and receive 10 ounces of gold. To compare the cost and benefits, we need to convert them into common units because we need the currency value. How much does it cost 600 ounces of silver, and what is the benefit of receiving 10 ounces of gold? So if the current market price of silver is $20 and then you have 600 ounces, so you have $12,000 as cost because you are giving away silver. Assume gold can be bought and sold at the current price of 1500, so 10 ounces of gold is 15,000. So it means your cost is 12,000, but you're going to get benefit of 15,000. So does it make sense? Yes, because whenever benefits are more than cost, we increase shareholders' value. Therefore, the jewelry opportunity has a benefit of 15,000 today and a cost of 12,000. In this case, the net benefit is 3,000. Because it is positive, the benefit exceeds the cost and it should be accepted into trade. Role of competitive markets. Competitive market is one in which goods can be bought and sold at the same price. In a competitive market, price determines the value of good. So competitive market means there is no arbitrage possibility. Now what is arbitrage? Arbitrage means, let's say I can buy gold in Canada. Let's say Canada and US have the same, or let's take a real example. So United States and Ecuador have the same currency. Ecuador also has US dollar as its currency. So if I can buy gold in Ecuador at $1,000 and the price of gold in United States is $1,500, what would a rational market player do? He would start buying gold in Ecuador at $1,000 and start selling gold in United States at $1,500. So eventually what will happen is price of Ecuador gold would increase because a lot of people are buying there, and price of US gold would fall, and eventually they will match. So competitive markets enable us to have one price for goods. Otherwise there is an arbitrage opportunity there. So example, you have just won a radio contest and disappointed to find out that price of that contest is 4 tickets to Celine Dion contest, which has a face value of 100. You're not fan of that artist because you have watched maybe Titanic too many times, but you like Justin Bieber, which has a face value of 150. Now these face values are not material because we always make decisions based on market price. We do not make decisions based on face value. Okay. So you notice on eBay, that is the marketplace, tickets for the artist are traded at $70 and ticket for Justin Bieber are traded at $180. What should you do? So we calculate cost. So you're getting tickets of Celine Dion. So 4 into 70 is the cost, and you can exchange it for Justin Bieber. So 2 into 180 is your benefit. So you need to compare cost and benefits. So cost is 280 and benefit is 360. So you are going to benefit. So you take Justin Bieber tickets instead of that previous artist. Now the crucial point here is, this example shows us that we do not make decisions based on face value. We make decisions based on market value. So competitive markets determine value and should guide your decisions. You should take Justin Bieber's ticket. Even if you don't want to go to the show, you can sell the tickets at a market price of 360. If you decided you and your friend want to attend Celine Dion's show, then you can always sell Justin Bieber tickets and buy her tickets and pocket the remaining $80. The valuation principle: the value of a commodity or an asset to a firm or its investor is determined by competitive market price. The benefit and cost of a decision should be evaluated using market prices and not on face values or estimates. When the value of benefits exceed the value of cost, the decision will increase market value of the firm. Another example, you are an operating manager at your firm. Due to a pre-existing contract, you have an opportunity to acquire 200 barrels of oil and 3,000 pounds of copper at a value of 25,000. The current price of oil is $90. So this example would have made in past because the price isn't $90 anymore. And the copper is around 3.5 pounds. You're not sure that you will need all the oil and copper. So you are wondering if you should take this opportunity. So questions that they are asking, how valuable it is, and would you change your decision if you believe that prices are going to go down. So we need to quantify the cost and benefit. The cost is 25,000. The benefit is 200 barrels at $90 per barrel and 3,000 pounds of copper at $3.5 per pound. So if you calculate the price, so 200 barrels into 90 barrel, $18,000, and 3,000 pounds of copper into 3.5 pounds per, so you get 10,000. So total benefit is 18 plus 10, that is 28,500, and the cost is 25. So you're in benefit of 3,500 today. Now the biggest question is, do you make this decision if you think the price is going to go down? So since we are transacting today, the only current price is the competitive price. By our own opinion about future, the prospects of oil or copper do not alter the value of decision. So it means that even if you think the price is going to go down, what can you do right now? You can take that oil, you can take that copper and sell it at market price and pocket the difference. So irrespective of what is your opinion in future, the current prices play an important role. Now, why there can be only one competitive price for a good? The valuation principle and finance in general rely on competitive price to value a benefit or cost. We cannot have two different competitive prices for same goods. The reason is arbitrage. The flood of buy and sell orders would push the two. Reason would be people will start buying goods where it is less costly and start selling goods where it is more costly. So law of one price always holds. In competitive markets, the same goods must have the same price. More generally, the financial securities that produce exact same cash flows must have same price. Otherwise, if they do not have same price, then there is arbitrage. What is arbitrage? It is practice of buying and selling equivalent goods in different markets to take advantage of price difference. Arbitrage opportunity is any situation in which it is possible to make profit without taking risk or making any investment. Principle of no arbitrage: in extremely competitive markets, the forces of supply and demand would make those arbitrage opportunities eliminated. You would eliminate that opportunities. Time value of money. In general, $1 today is worth more than, okay, so this is the next concept. So what does time value of money mean? That if you have some money, you can invest it and get returns. So value of money tomorrow is less than value of money today. So if you are getting $100 1 year from now, the value of that is less than $100 today. In general, $1 today is worth more than $1 in 1 year. If you have $1 today, you can deposit it at 7% and you can get $1.07 at the end of the year. So if you have money today that is more valued than the same amount of money in future. The difference in value between money today and money in future is called as time value of money. Time value of money. Consider a firm's investment opportunity with the cost of 100,000 today and a benefit of 107 at the end of 1 year. So whenever you have opportunities where cost is incurred today but benefits are received in future, you have to convert cash across time. So how do we convert? By depositing money, we convert money today into money in future, or by borrowing money, we exchange money today for money in future. So interest rates play an important role whenever we have time value of money discussion. So we generally divide by interest rates if we want to bring future cash flows to present times, and we multiply by interest rates by 1 plus interest rates if we want to bring present values into the future. Consider value of 100,000 investment in 1 year if interest rate is 7%. So 100,000 will grow at 1.07. So you will get 107,000 in 1 year. So 107,000 is the opportunity cost of spending 100,000 today. The firm gives up the 105 it would have received in 1 year if it had any left in the money. Alternatively, borrowing 100,000 from the same bank would owe 107. So what does it mean is, the whole discussion revolves around a concept that if you are getting the same amount of money that you received today is more valued. Okay. So they have given few examples to doing that, how to convert. How much would we have in a bank today, so that we would end up with 105,000 in bank. This is calculated by discounting. So I'll explain it to you on Excel. So it's very simple. There are two concepts, present value and future value. To find out present value of anything that you're going to get in future, you generally divide, so whatever cash flow you have, you divide it by 1 plus interest rate. And to find, and if there are multiple years involved, we raise it to the power n. So formula is cash flows in future divided by 1 plus interest rate, and when do you receive it in future, so divided by n number of periods. In future value terms, whatever cash flow you're getting, you multiply it by 1 plus interest rate. So if you want to convert present into future, you multiply and to the power n, and if you want to bring future into present, you divide. For example, let's say in 5 years you're going to get $1,000 from your friend and interest rate is 5%. So what is the value of this $1,000 that you receive in 5 years today? So how do you do it? You divide this 1,000 by 1 plus interest rate to the power 5, because you are going to receive it in 5 years. So value of this $1,000 that you're going to receive 5 years from now at 5% interest is $783. Now let's say you're investing $2,000 for 10 years in a mutual fund that gives 6% interest. So how do you find future value of that? So 2000 cash flow, to find future value you multiply by interest rate and raise it to the power n, that is 10. Now we generally use financial calculators for that. We find FV, like you have done business finance or business math, so you know. So whenever you want to find future value, put everything in, calculate for future value. Whenever you want to find present value, put everything in and calculate for present value. So discount factors, money in future is worth less today, so price reflects the discount. How do you discount it? You divide it by 1 plus interest rate. So they have given few examples in the book which are very easy. The launch of PlayStation 3 was delayed until November 2006, giving Xbox almost a year. Imagine that it is November 2005 and you are marketing manager of PlayStation. You estimate that if PlayStation 3 were ready to be launched immediately, you could sell 2 billion units. However, if your launch is delayed by a year, you believe that Microsoft gets a head start and your sales would go down to 1.6 billion. But 1.6 billion 1 year from now. If interest rate is 8%, what is the cost of delay? So revenues, if you launch it today, are 2 billion. Now if revenues, if you launch it 1 year from now, are 1.6 billion then. So you have to bring those revenue into present terms. Interest rate is 8%. We need to compute the revenues if launch is delayed and compare them to revenues for launching immediately. However, in order to make a fair comparison, we need to convert the future revenues of PlayStation if delayed into equivalent present value of revenues. So if a launch is delayed to 2000, the revenues will drop to 1.6 billion. To compare this amount to 2 billion, we need to find the present value. How do you do it? 1.6 billion you are going to receive 1 year from now, divided by 1 plus interest rate, that was 8%. So you get 1.481 billion. Now 2 billion is the benefit if you launch right now. 1.41 is the benefit if you launch 1 year from now. So the cost of delay is around 519 million. Delaying the project for 1 year was equivalent to giving up 519 million in cash. In this example, we focused only on the effect of first year's revenue. However, delaying the launch delays the entire revenue stream by 1 year. So the total cost would be calculated in the same way if you delay the revenues. So important, whenever you're doing time value of money problems, always construct a timeline. For timeline, it is generally starts at 0. Whatever cash flows happen right now in present are cash flows at 0, and we follow a sign convention. So whatever you receive, whatever you get is positive, so it will have a positive sign when you calculate. Whatever you give out, whatever you pay is negative, so it will have a negative sign. Always follow sign conventions, because in exams the reason most of you go wrong is because of signs. So for example, it has a negative sign of 10,000 because you are putting money and you're getting 6,000 and 6,000, so that has a positive sign. Comparing and combining values, it is only possible to compare or combine values at the same point of time. So we have to either bring everything in future or we bring everything in past. Generally what we do in real practice is we bring everything to present. So whatever future benefits you're going to get, you bring those future benefits back to present so that you know the value today, and then you compare it with cost. So they have given how compounding works. So we have seen this formula. Future value is always cash flows into 1 plus interest rate to the power n. Discounting, whenever you're bringing future into present, so cash flows that you receive in nth period divided by 1 plus interest rate to the power n. So it's if you invest 8626 today, how will it work? It will grow 1 year by 10%, then it will again grow 1 year by 10% if interest rate is 10% to give you 1000. So they have given an easy example. You can pause the video and do it and then check. You are considering investing in a Government of Canada bond that pays 15,000 in 10 years. If competitive interest rates are fixed at 6%, what is the bond value today? So 15,000 is in after 10 years. You have to bring it to today. So we discount. So we divide it by 1 plus 6% to the power 10. So it is 15,000 divided by 1 plus 6% to the power 10. So the value of 15,000 10 years from now is only 8,375 today. The bond is worth much less today than it is final payoff because of time value of money. So this was a very easy chapter. In class we'll be doing few problems on it, but you have already done business math before taking this course, hopefully. So you know how to do time value of money calculation, so it should be relatively easy for you.